Doing it.
We're doing it. We'll
We're
do it
doing
live. Uh,
it.
is that overdone? Fuck it, we'll
No,
do
that
it live.
that will never cease to get old or be entertaining.
Okay, fair enough. Welcome to Adam and Kate plus hate. I'm Kate.
I'm Adam.
Welcome, welcome. Um, Thank you for tuning in. If you have been, episode 6. Got a handful of things to talk about. Some new records came out this week. Some pretty big records came out this week, but maybe we'll start with what have you been listening to this week, Adam?
Let's see. So, a couple things. One of which we're going to talk about. Two things we're going to talk about. The first thing is this band called Hell Ripper that you sent me.
Yo,
Uh, that
so
shit's
good,
great.
right?
That shit's good. If you're a fan of like Young and in the Way or like really fast speed metal, uh, if the term blackened plus anything else was what you went to in like '09 to 2014, like you're gonna want to get into this band. I was not expecting it. I was expecting something totally different when you sent it to me, but I played that and I was like, oh, good goddamn, this is
It just
actually
it
really
just came up on my algorithm, and I was like, this is sick. And uh, so yeah, I've been listening to them too. I've been going back. So apparently, it's just one dude from like this one dude out of Scotland.
the lore gets deeper. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but like, there's a bunch of albums. He has a new one coming out, I think, at the end of this week, on the 27th. Which is the song that I sent you. What that's from, but it just came up in my algorithm. Like, I'll listen to this. Blackened speed metal. That sounds cool. Uh, and
Yeah, that's
yo,
really, really
it's
one
so
dude.
good.
Like the only other metal that I listen to that has so few members in it would probably be like I can think of three: Planning for Burial, Sonhet, and like Arsis, and that's about one person doing what he would Hell Ripper Hell Ripper is doing.
Hmm.
Yo, mind melting. Uh,
Yeah,
just
it
check him out.
it fucking rips. It's so good. Uh,
Yeah, sorry for the slight delay right there in a reaction, but like it's one of those things that like again I'm still real foreign with metal, which we'll be talking about a lot later on, and so I don't have a lot of bigger comparisons or like intricate ways to like nerd the fuck out on their sound, but
mhm.
Black and Crust, Integrity, Young and in the Way, Gehenna, Ringworm, Slayer. If you like any of the aforementioned, you're probably gonna fucking dig this. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, yeah. It's sick, and I was super stoked to just like come across a band that was like, oh, this rules. That happens so rarely. Like so often, I'll like some band will come up that I've never heard of before, and I'll put it on, and I was like, oh, that 20 seconds that I heard wherever was the only cool part of that song. Uh, but not the case here. It's just sick. Um, I'm definitely gonna be purchasing merch sooner rather than later from that band.
Hell yeah. What uh other than stuff we're gonna be talking about, because both those things took up a lot of my week. It was a lot of podcasts, but we shared some shit back and forth, and I just genuinely do not remember everything that we shared in the last couple of days because the other two
Oh, there's been a
records
lot.
have
Yeah,
just taken everything for me. My brain is dumb.
it's fine. I so I I will say like the two big things that came out this week that we've both been listening to are the new Poison the Well and the new Neurosis. We're not talking about that right now because we're going to devote, like we did in the first episode, most of the rest of the episode to just talking about that. But other things that I listened to this week, another band that came up on my algorithm the same time as Hell Ripper is this band called Chalk. They're like
Hardcore band?
post. post-punk dance punk out of the
Okay.
UK. Kind of like synth heavy and like dancey, groovy. It was really cool. Kind of like definitely some like New Order influence in there and stuff like that. But remind me to send the link your way because it's. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. Not necessarily in my usual wheelhouse of stuff, but yeah.
I like dancey. I like dancey music. When you said chalk, I thought of like some band that really wanted to be on like a upstart hardcore label that just had a simple name for their band. Because there's been more of that in like the last 2 or 3 years. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
is that a hardcore band? We're gonna talk about hardcore, but no, dance music. I too enjoy a boogie tune, and I my preferred method right now is the Persona soundtracks. I love the fuck out of that Persona 5 soundtrack. That is I need to send that to you by the way. Um
Please do.
that shit is if you like the Cowboy Bebop intro, if you like the Seatbelts record they did for Cowboy Bebop, this is gonna be in your fucking lane. It's not like it's something new that I listened to, but you telling me that reminded me, like, oh yeah, that's still one of the best things that you own on vinyl and you play regularly. So the Persona 5 soundtrack is so goddamn good. And I'll send that to you uh, uh, before the night's over.
Sweet. And I also really enjoyed this past week. Tim Singer Project Bitter Branches put out a new record called We Should Give the World Back to the Animals. Um, if you like Tim Singer and his projects, Kiss It Goodbye, Dead Guy, Process Black, um, very a handful of other bands whose name escaped me at the moment, you'll like Bitter Branches. When it comes to Tim Singer, you're either in or you're out. Um, and I am 100% in.
Say,
Yeah. That record's really good. Other than that, not a whole lot sticking out to me other than our main topics for the day.
same. We do need to introduce a new segment uh,
Yes.
called
Consequences will never be the same. We done
Done Good
goofed.
Water. All right. I'll do mine first because it's I should have known better.
We are doing some retractions, some corrections, some we misspoke or just showed our ass as being pose dogs. Whatever.
Level 10 post dogs for life. Last week we were talking about comic books. Patrick Kenlin, his new book came out, Tiger's Island. We showed it on camera. Go to your local comic book store, get it. Buy it from Third Eye Comics online, however you want to get it. Check out his whole bibliography. I used the right word that time, thank God. And in doing so, I had forgotten because he and Matt Rosenberg worked on We Can Never Go Home. I
Hmm.
said that they worked on Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, which is becoming a movie soon. However, the other project they worked on that I should have said was Menu, which was a web comic which ran for years. I don't know if they ever did a physical one, but if someone sure would be a shame if someone put out a physical copy of all of the web comic Menu that Patrick Kinlan and Matthew Rosenberg worked on. Sure would be a real goddamn shame if that came into the universe. So that was my mistake that I wanted to retract and put out some stuff to the universe. And if it's already out there, I'll retract again next week.
We'll do a retraction on the retraction. Yeah, I mean, you can't know everything, right? Uh, but so my own personal goof that I made this past week was I said that the band Eternal Champion is from Australia. I have no idea why I thought that. They're from Texas. Um,
The Australia of America.
Texas is the Australia of America. That is true. Um, but I also said that they put out a new single. Um, this was just me not really paying attention. Um, I listen to a lot of music while I work and do like my email job, and often that just includes like hitting play and doing other things and not fully like engaging, and that's my bad. I went back, I gave this an actual headphones listen. It is a full-length record. It just happens to be 2 tracks that are both like 15 minutes long. So it's still sick. I still really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it even more when I was actually paying attention to it. Uh, Getting older and working an actual job is, you know,
Soul
it's a
crushing.
thing. A little bit, just a little
Makes,
bit.
makes me want to just walk into the sweet embrace of death. Anyways, uh,
So, we're idiots, but it's fine. We try and be self-aware. We try and own our shit. Um, Hopefully, we
that'll
will
be
make
okay.
mistakes in the future. Uh,
Hey, sorry
if you're mad
guys.
about it, call a cop.
Do something. Call a cop.
Sure, they'll be glad to take your statement. Uh,
So, do you want to do? Yeah, we got two. We got one or two more things for the big. Oh, yeah, we got two things. Do you want to do mail or do you want to do homework?
let's do my homework. Like I was saying, before we hit record, so you assigned me Moro this past week. Um,
Yes.
Moro is a crust punk project out of the UK. Um, and I really wish I had like I don't have a whole lot to say here other than I really liked it and it really hit a lot of a lot of things I really like in music. It is like a mixture of crust punk, crusty hardcore, uh, tragedy mixed with post rock orchestral stuff like Godspeed You Black Emperor. In terms of the instrumentation, like they got violins, they got various other things in there. They have longer songs, um, and it's put together in a really cool way, in a way that like it it just makes sense when you're listening to it. Oftentimes when genres get mashed up like that, they can sound sort of like very much like there's some sort of quota in terms of genre that they're trying to hit.
Like Broken
Like, all
Side?
right, we got to bring whatever this was to a grinding halt so we can stop and do another thing. Um, Broken Side. A buddy of mine tried to tell me that he liked that band today, and I just told him that I didn't believe him. And he's like, "No, I like it in the way that I like the garbage TV that I watch." And I was like, "Okay, I can I can sort of get on board with that." Broken
I
Side
didn't
is still the antithesis of music.
I didn't want
That
to
shit
derail you.
was that shit was garbage at the time. I remember when it was happening. It was a joke. It still is a joke. Um,
Not good.
all that shit was garbage. What else was there? There was like Hollywood Undead was another one. Blood on the Dance
Billionaires.
Floor was another one. Um, Allegation Core. Uh, Anyways, back to the matter at hand. A lot of times when there's a there's like a heavier band pulling in elements for like way outside of like heavy music, it doesn't always mesh well together. Um, it can sound like someone just cut together like 2 or 3 different songs. Um, but this all 3 records, they were a coherent whole, and it was really really good. Um, I was joking around with you earlier in the week that it just sort of sounds like members of Tragedy and members of Godspeed You Black Emperor were volunteering at the same Food Not Bombs and just going like, you know what? No, we should like do something. We should collab sometime. Um,
Such a good way to put it.
uh, so yeah, if that sounds like a thing that you like, I I can't recommend it enough. If you like His Hero Is Gone, and Uh, a Silver Mount Zion. I don't see why
Ooh,
you wouldn't like this.
good pull with Silver Mount Zion.
Um,
Hell yeah.
that's another band that needs more shine. But yeah, I wish I had something more in depth to say about it other than it's just really good. I very nearly bought a shirt until in the checkout process I found out that shipping was going to be $20 um, which was as much, if not more, than the shirt that I was ordering from them, and decided to maybe pump the brakes on that and try and make better decisions with my money than buying more black T-shirts.
They have one in Heather Gray.
They did, but it's sold out.
I was fucking around. Oh. um, for
I
those looking to,
actually don't know if they had one in gray. I do know that there was only one design that wasn't sold out. So
uh,
anyhow,
if you're looking to buy that stuff, uh, go online. You go to doomrock.com and buy from Timo, who is still having health problems, but your order will ship. And the record label is Alerta Antifascista. A lot of music, not only in that vein of Moro, but if you've been wanting to find like more bands like that, more bands like Tragedy, and more experimental bands with that doomy or that crust punk leaning, that's a label you need to get into and give all your money to. That so that $20 shipping goes up a little bit, but then you get a gigantic goddamn package in the mail.
yeah. If anybody wants to go in on a big group order, let me know. But yeah, shout out. I'll try and remember to include a link in the description on YouTube to the label's Bandcamp. But you had a good mail week.
I did. I
Tell me about
did.
it.
All right. So this first thing I'm gonna talk about. Oh God, I forgot how to like move my mouth for a minute. Jesus. Um, it's like ha ha ha. Don't work. Um, First thing is I used to own this record. I had the Rainfest version of this record. I had a regular copy that I picked up at their final show slash harvest reunion show in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 2010. But it is disembodied. Psalms of Sheol. This is directly from Prime Directive Records, who has put out a lot of your favorites, a lot of your favorite metalcore and hardcore bands. I highly recommend you check them out. It was limited to 222 copies. I know it was at some of the shows, like Hellfest West is when it first popped up. This is what the thing actually looks like: black splatter with red, and
Oh, that looks sick.
this is the early recordings for Disembodied. If you are a completionist and do not want to hunt down all the individual 7 inches and all the other stuff, get this comp. It's not new music, but it's nice to have this back in print and not spend $1,000 or whatever they go for now. It's more than what I spent on this. Like it's like $30 shipped after all was said and done. So I'm very happy to have that in my collection. And when we're talking about Tim Singer earlier, there was an email that went out to fans of Dead Guy, and I thankfully was paying attention with my 800 emails I need to go through and delete. Mostly bills. They're paid. I just don't want to see the notice. It freaks me out. Weird. That's my anyways. This job runs you. This Dead Guy. Talking about Dead Guy. Talking about Dead Guy. I think that this particular record is becoming probably my number two hardcore record. It's my third or fourth copy of it. Pretty sure third for sure. But they put up a 30-year anniversary special collector's edition with a sick ass sleeve. Um, Amsock did the sleeve for this, along with the Sky Came Falling Furnace Fest edition with the really crazy, intricate stuff on it. Um, it is regular cover. There's been a little bit of difference on the front. It's just hard pulling this in and out. The actual vinyl, I believe this is the glow in the dark blue, but I've not checked it out. That's what it looks like in real life. And the one thing about the main cover that I really like that they have changed once I put this back in there, not as unsmooth as I thought it was going to be. It did better than I expected. Is
we'll
if you
get
look,
you going full Vanna White here soon enough.
I'll get it. I'll get it sooner or later. The slight reimagination of the cover from the original one. But the thing I like is that this is a 30-year edition of the record. Um, they have a bunch of different variants, but this one and I think the other email ones sold out pretty fucking quick. But it's Pop Gun Records. If you just go to Dead Guy, you can see where they've listed it. Like Dead Guy Rocks on Insta. Um, Pop Gun is the label. I want it. It might be Tip's label for all I know. But it's if you like Dead Guy, get one of these editions. It's been remastered. It's great. It's Fixation on a Coworker is one of the most influential records, and whether you know it or not, people need to admit that, and people need to start name dropping Dead Guy more. And I'm glad they're playing shows again. Hopefully, I get to see them in May. Fucking Dead Guy. Fucking Dead
Yeah,
Guy.
there is almost 100% chance if you're watching this show because you like this music and not just because you happen to know us personally, then you have listened to music that has been influenced by Dead Guy. Yeah, Fixation on a Coworker. Um, a lot of the more like technical, sort of like more chaotic metalcore stuff owes a lot to that record in specific. Um, if you like things like Botch or Coalesce, those things probably wouldn't exist without that Dead Guy record. Um, at least not in the same way. So, if you like, even moving on beyond that, like if you like Every Time I Die, that like Every Time I Die does not exist without Dead Guy. Yeah, the tail on that record is long.
If you want a good in-depth look at it, it was Fourth Media did the documentary of the band getting back together where they started playing shows. I love documentaries in general because I'm a fucking weirdo. Um, it's the closest thing to reading that I do now, and I want to slide that in there. I love a good music documentary, whether I like the artist or not, and I'm glad I bought it. I think Vinegar Syndrome put it out. They may have copies, but um, get that document. It's insanely good.
Hopefully you can get a physical copy of it. If it is available for streaming on a YouTube, I want to say it's just for free. It's just there.
Free or like $3. It's real cheap if it is there.
Yeah.
It's called Killing Music, by the way. Almost forgot to mention that.
Dead Guy Killing Music. But before we get too far down this, you know what I forgot to do?
What's that?
Forgot to assign you your homework for this next week.
All right. What am I delving into this particular?
So a band that was really important to me growing up in Connecticut in the hardcore scene, a band that I have, I know members of personally, Life in Your Way.
Okay.
They are a melodic hardcore band out of Connecticut, a la Strong Arm, Shai Hulud, that sort of end of things. They've got 4 full-length records. Excited to hear what you think about them. Yeah.
All right. We used to have melodic hardcore. I was like, okay, it's gonna be like Killing the Dream, like Ruiner, and it sounds like this is more in the end of like the metalcore side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, insofar, I wouldn't call Shai Hulud or Strong Arm particularly metal at all.
Okay.
Would you?
I consider them metalcore.
Huh.
You could they're Shai Hulud. All right, weird tangent before we get to the big thing. Big things. Burp. Lion face. Lemon face. Break it down. Shai Hulud is one of those bands that is lucky enough to have been a major influence on a ton of bands in a lot of ways, and I feel that they're not celebrated properly. Are the kind of band that can play a metal show or a hardcore show. They're like in
Mm-hmm.
that 30 to 50 bands, depending on where you're at in your hardcore journey.
They're one
Uh,
of the weird bands that have been on both Revelation and Metal Blade.
so I consider them metalcore. They can be melodic hardcore. That's a perfectly apt way to say it. They can be metalcore as well because they also have a lot of the same. I don't say trappings, but a lot of the same characteristics that you're going to find in like metalcore. But they're not a they're not a paint by numbers band by any respect. I have a Shiloh tattoo. I love them that goddamn much. So, uh, but you could call them metalcore, you could call them melodic hardcore, but they're in that realm that gets to exist in more than one genre, and you can use more than one genre definition for them, and like no one's gonna be like, no, no, there's only this. So
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
I feel like they can. We flew to goddamn Pittsburgh to see them, so that's from Greenville, South Carolina. So I clearly love the fuck out of this band. Uh,
Hell yeah.
shout out Matt, shout out Geert. It was cool. Shout out AJ at preserving as well. Shout out Jim for letting us crash with him. It was a fun fucking 30 some odd hour trip, and it was awesome. So Shiloh, Florida, Poughkeepsie.
Later Poughkeepsie.
They got those tapes. All right, not every joke lands. I'm not trying to open mic for the rest of this. I promise.
All right. Did you get anything else in the mail this week? Did I mix it up?
No,
The
not
big thing
this
was
week.
okay.
The dead guy and the disembodied.
That's right.
Oh,
Yep.
I got some night number twos, but nothing else.
Big thing this week. We got 2 comeback records.
Big
One that
ones.
big ones, huge ones. One that we all knew about and was 100% on our radar that we had been planning on, talking through. Another one that I fully stopped listening to the Poison the Well record midway through. And sorry, I'll have to come back to this later because a new Neurosis record came out.
Yeah, big fucking week. Big week.
So, I think we'll talk about the Poison the Well record first.
All right.
But this record's really good. Um, it doesn't sound like the records that like everyone kind of I think goes when people think of Poison the Well, they think of um nerdy. They think of Opposite of December. But this did not sound like that Poison the Well. This sounded to me like the in the best way possible, the latter day stuff. My personal favorite record from them is Tropic Rot. And it sounded way more in line with that record than it did the earlier stuff. Does that sound right to you?
It does, and I just want to do a quick little flex.
Please.
I do have the box set. I
Mm.
sold all I sold all my original Poison the Well records years ago, and I was like, I can't afford new ones. And then this thing went up, and I was like, yeah, that's a. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm buying that immediately. Fuck paying my credit card bill. I need Poison the Well vinyl. So, um, I because both the bands we're discussing today, which I think is pretty cool, they are both influential and genre defining and defying
Mm-hmm.
bands.
Yeah.
Both bands have a ton of children after them. To whatever degree you like them is up to you. They both had major sound changes. So for Poison the Well, this is the one that I cared about the most between Poison the Well and Neurosis, and we're gonna go heavy on Neurosis because if you know Poison the Well, I don't need to go in on this for a long time. Neurosis is the bigger one for a lot of reasons, but they had that single come out, which the 2 song single, and then they had 1 or 2 songs slowly come off the new record,
Mm-hmm.
which it should be shipping. So I'll actually have that in hand next week, so I can
But
show
dope.
you which one. Um, I also agree that there is more of a Tropic Rot kind of sound to it. Versions or Tropic Rot, depending on the day, is my favorite Poison the Well record. I was lucky enough to see them come up through the ranks. I did not get to see them when Dwayne Hussein was in it. That was on the Distance Let Makes the Heart Grow Fonder EP. That was originally on like Good Life out of Belgium. That I did not get to see him in that iteration. I got to see them when Alan was in the band. They were still like very very young. The LP Opposite had just come out or was about to come out. They were on tour with 12 Tribes. Like 19 people showed up, and then Hellfest 2000, they fucking popped. Like that was amazing. And then blah blah blah. They went through their motions, put out the Tropic Rot, broke up. This new record, they had some comeback shows. This record, if you take some of the energy from that first Poison the Well, Opposite of December LP, if you take some of the intricate melodic guitar work from Tear from the Red, if you take the aggression and the heaviness of You Come Before You, if you then add in all the maturity and the instrumentation of the last two records, you have this new one. That it's for a band that's been away for almost 17 years as far as new music goes. You can't really have a better comeback. You really can't.
No, I mean Tropic Rock came out in 2009,
Yeah,
which is
for
wild to think about.
makes me feel extremely old. The the tour the tour was Converge. Like you don't as a, bands don't come back, put out a shitty record, and then have Converge be the underplay.
Yeah, no, the fact that Converge is main support for Poison the Well on this is wild.
So big influential band, big step back into the world with a new record.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed this record. It's just really good. It's definitely going to be in heavy rotation for me. But again, I feel like with I feel like you covered it all. I feel also like with the Moro thing, it's like I don't know what to say about it other than I really liked it. You know, it's heavy, it's cool. You know, there's a fair amount of like clean singing and stuff on it in a way that I don't find corny, which is pretty hard to pull off for a lot of metalcore. A lot of times like that stuff can be like real lame if it's done poorly, and like this is not. Like this is just straight up cool. Um
Another hit. Like this is going to be a top 10 for a lot of people. This is going to be their top
Absolutely.
year. This it's going to be a record. What's wild is like the first three big records we've talked about this year are going to be like the discussion.
Yeah.
They're you got Converge, which was the first big one, Poison the Well, which we knew was coming, and then Neurosis.
Yeah. Those are going to be a lot of people's top 10s, like top 5s for sure.
So
I am
I'm
excited to
good on.
see what this year's going to hold. Like what other things don't we know are coming down the pipeline?
I hope we get new Integrity and Glassjaw and Self Defense. I think I'll be happy because I think or American Nightmare. That there's four that I'm putting out into the world that I hope happen that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Uh,
I Sean from Coalesce mentioned on a podcast that they are working on a new record, and I would love for that to be true. Please,
I
please
hope
let
it's
that
like
be
the
true.
if it's like Ox and the Ox EP, I'm gonna be way more into it because those are as late as I am to the Coalesce party. Uh, those two are my favorite because they're the weirdest of their catalog, and they just pull me in right.
Those records are so cool. Um, yeah. And those were their comeback records. Like they
Yeah,
had been gone for a while. And that came out the same year as Tropic Rot, 2009.
yeah. 09, 2010. That's that era when like hardcore got weird in general. What to do a deep dive on like how shit got weird for like
We
that
should
little.
do a deep dive on 2009 because
Okay,
I'm thinking about it like Tropic Rock came out that year. Um, we got Axe to Fall that year from Converge.
they're most
Um,
underrated.
yep. ISIS put out a record that year, Wavering Radiant.
Yep, you're right.
Um, Every Time I Die put out a record that year. New Junk Aesthetic. Um,
Oh my god.
there are some.
Secrets of the World come out? Was 09 TUI's first LP?
Let me look. I think they may have put out a demo, but I think Secrets of the World doesn't come out until like 2011. I want to say, but I may be full of shit. Nope, you're right. Secrets of the World, 2009.
Jesus Christ. Didn't Keepers of the Faith came out 2010, right? Okay. I know. Listen, what we just mentioned is big enough, but
Yeah,
you're right.
2009 is an interesting year. I think with a lot of stuff that maybe gets lost. You know what I mean?
If it's yeah, if it's one of those big years for hardcore or just guitar, we'll say guitar music.
Mm-hmm.
If that's one of those years, will you will I've lost sight of a bunch of bands. I know I have. Then I'll find them years later, like, oh, I remember. And like when we get these, I don't know if glut's the right word, but we get these just short periods of time with millions of records by a lot of bands, all of them good. It becomes not only overwhelming, but you don't get to see the whole landscape change. You only get to see like one tiny section, and then
Mm-hmm.
the proverbial children of that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Also that year, Baroness Blue record came out that year. BT Bam Great Misdirect came out that year. Uh,
Did was that when was 08 when Heavier Than Heaven came out for Blacklisted?
I um I made a playlist here with stuff that came out in 2009 from my iTunes library, and there's nothing. Blacklisted is not coming up. Um, I think Blacklisted comes out, or Heavier Than Heaven comes out. I think
That's 08,
late.
and then No One Deserves to Be Here was 2010. That sounds right. I feel like that those years add up.
But
I'll go
now
through
I
my
lost it.
cool thing about Discogs is I can look up and see what came out that year, and I can just like screenshot it and go, oh,
Mm.
there's more than I expected.
The Chariot put out a record that year.
I could start tearing through my actual records right beneath me, and it's weirdly inspecting everything. Like, when did this come out? What's the
mm.
copyright?
I don't want to get too deep on the weeds in this. But yeah, 2009 would be an interesting year to go through because there's a lot. And like stuff that maybe doesn't get remembered is sort of like the interesting part of it, right? Like,
I know I'm going to own records from that year that like it falls exactly in line with what you're saying. I
oh,
have I
Lewd Axe, Black Eye Blues came out that year.
oh great fucking release.
Make Do and Men, Bodies of Water came out that year. That is for a lot of people, like if they're not going for End Measured Mile, like they're going for Bodies of Water for Make Do and Mend.
So 09. 09 is going to be a good year for us to go into. Because
Yeah.
I wonder what our tastes were
Yeah.
from I would love to see, because I try to own a physical copy of everything that I have ever had. I made the gigantic and insanely expensive switch from CD to vinyl, which,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Then you'll learn about variants and like not eating for weeks because you got to set for pre-orders.
As of now, the final Red Chord full length came out that year. Fed Through the Teeth Machine.
That was the last one. I thought they did one after that.
I don't think so.
Red Court, interesting band.
Interesting band.
Are they deathcore?
I would say they don't get their flowers in deathcore, but I think they're a deathcore band. But like they don't get sorted into the wet rest of it the same way that like the Acacia Strain does.
They're more of a hardcore band, not a deathcore band, which is wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, in what's interesting too about 2009 is that it's also like a lot of bands that would go on to be really big and important. Like Touche Amore to the Beat of a Dead Horse comes out in 2000.
Fuck!
Right? Like bands that would go on, like Title Fight has a release in 2009. Um,
Was it Floral Green? Was Floral
no,
Green?
this is way before. What is it?
Oh, the EP, the 7 inch
Yeah.
with Symmetry. Great. I love that EP. By the way, probably my favorite Title Fight material.
Um, Title Fight, The Last Thing You Forgot comes out that year.
And that and probably Floral Green, probably the only two Title Fight records that I actually really love and have any affinity towards, or even know compared to the super fans. Sorry, Title Fight super fans. I only know. I
Oh,
can only
and
think.
another record that came out that year that doesn't get remembered, Awake from Zayo.
Oh shit!
Thank you for bearing with us as we did a mini preview deep dive of 2009 in hardcore. As I just scrolled through, I'm sure that was riveting radio for everybody involved. But anyhow,
All right,
um,
yeah. All right,
okay,
now we're time to talk about the big one.
the big one. So, for though to make sure everyone's on the same page here, um, Neurosis back in, I want to say, 2022. They had already been quiet for a while. They hadn't toured in a while. They hadn't, like, even like pandemic notwithstanding, right? Like pre-pandemic, they hadn't done a whole lot. They hadn't been playing out. Like, they were always pretty quiet. And then former member of Neurosis, Scott Kelly, puts out a big message on social media, essentially self-canceling, admitting to a lot of real fucked up shit that he'd been doing to his family, engaging in like physical and emotional abuse of his wife and kids. Um, and says like, I'm quitting music forever so I can focus on being a better person, which I hope that is in fact what happened. Um, however, Neurosis, the rest of Neurosis were like, we haven't lived in the same time zone as this dude for like over a decade, if not longer. We had no idea this was going on. We are absolutely gutted to find out about this. We're hesitant to like believe anything that this dude said. This could just be him like trying to control the narrative further. We don't really know. But like, now our entire legacy is kind of in question and it's kind of tied to this shitty dude. Maybe eventually we'll pick this thing up again, but that time is not now. Right? Like, and just, and then it was quiet. We had Steve Ontill from like the other big name from Neurosis, put out a handful of like solo material, um, but it was all pretty quiet. And then Friday, they dropped a full length record, announced that Aaron Turner of ISIS was their new lead guitarist and vocalist. And we're like, hey, we're back. Here's our record. Um, and listen, you could not have found a better replacement to perfectly slot into Neurosis than Aaron Turner. Like, full stop. There is not a better human that could have stepped into that role. Uh, and this comeback record, it's Undying Love for a Burning World, is everything you want a Neurosis record to be. It is. I think we were talking about this earlier in the week, that I would be perfectly comfortable handing this to somebody as their like entry point into Neurosis.
Because so for those who don't know, I'm not big in metal. Metal is a genre that I have a million blind spots in. Neurosis is a band I've tried to get into. Uh, it didn't click. and I
Hmm.
listened to this record, and if I had never heard Neurosis before, earlier the fast, crusty material I enjoy. It's just where my brain goes to. If I had never heard that material, you handed me this new record, say, check out this band, especially at my age now, I go, oh, this is insanely well done. I'm going to go back and look into this band's catalog. But because I am the way I am now musically, uh, and because I was exposed to it earlier, it didn't do anything for me. Um, this is a this is a comeback record. Like you really couldn't have had a better person to step in. You're absolutely right. Between all the stuff that Aaron has done musically, just running Hydra Head Records, putting out more legitimate genre defying and defining classics throughout the entire label's history. Uh, Neurosis, gigantic, influential band. You have Hydra Head Records. You have Aaron Turner. You have everything in that world. Now they're coming together, and now you have like you might have started a new legacy with this. This might be a brand new legacy for everyone and everything they've done involved. Like this
Yeah,
could be a start big,
yeah.
and start to finish, record flows very well. It's angry as fuck to begin with, and it's angry as fuck when it leaves.
That that opening track was is to my ears some of the most powerful music that I've heard in a long. Like the first track is, I think it's just a cappella, and just starts out screaming, "We are torn wide open," and holy shit! Like, sorry, I'm gonna try and hold it all together, but like,
it no, it grips you right off the bat. It grips you right off the bat. It's very you know, tribalism gets thrown around a lot, but it just brings up some very specific, like, all right, well, we got to defend the tribe. It's time to go to war against all the fucking problems. This is a record that amps you the fuck up. And it's Neurosis as a band is not known for making music that amps you the fuck up. It's dark and brooding and scary. This is not that. This is a big change in their sound and some of their direction.
yeah, it is. It is at once like is once very different from a lot of their previous material, while at the same time also like slotting in perfectly with their previous material. Like it, man. I as soon as it dropped, I texted my buddy Andy, um, drummer for Life in Your Way. Said, hey, in case you haven't seen it yet, new Neurosis record. Andy's the reason I got into Neurosis in the first place. Um, and he just sent me back like four back to back gifts of like it was like the Jonah Hill like screaming face and then like Kermit the Frog like freaking out. And he's like, I don't think that's actually strong. Any of those are strong enough. And I'm like, yeah, dude. And Aaron Turner's on vocals, and and he's like, I think I just pissed myself.
No, it was like when I saw the when so I was in a Discord when I saw the information go up, and I was in one of my like million Discords, and I was looking for a pre-order page, and the thing I sent you, uh, Neurosis is back with it is back there. Goddamn, Aaron Turner's in the band, and it was or whatever the phrasing was. It was all caps. And I sent it to you. I know that you give a shit about Neurosis. I was like, I gotta send this to you.
Yeah,
I sent it to other people like, hey, I know this is your lane. If you don't know because you were at work or whatever,
yeah,
get on it. And
yeah. It was funny. You sent me that message, and I was listening to it when you sent that to me.
so I was like 20 minutes late, but goddamn, that was not to harp on Poison the Well again for a second. For a band that had been around for a long time, 17 years since the last record, we anticipated this record. It had a lot of expectations behind it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
they're like, is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Where is this in their catalog? Where's it going to fall? The left field drop of this record for Neurosis was, yo, I hate to say it dwarfed one of the biggest bands in metalcore. It fucking dwarfed the news. I saw Poison the Well records out, Poison the Well records out, then a million. Hey, neurosis, 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 neurosis.
Yeah.
So I
Uh,
didn't think I didn't think any band could really drown out Poison the Well for a new LP. Yo, Neurosis did it.
yeah. Um, Now, like, they are enough in their own sort of worlds. I would say that I don't think they were trying to like take any air out of the Poison Well balloon. Poison Well is doing just fine. Um, but yeah, but Neurosis is like a band that so many people have cited as a reference point, as an influence. Converge named Neurosis as a huge influence on them. Um, they've Neurosis has been a band since the late '80s.
Yep.
They started off as like a crusty hardcore band, and then in the early '90s they pivoted to like a droney like post metal act, putting out like 15-minute long songs. Um, and they
Companion record, their side band for their side band.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that they ever put out was they had a side project called Tribes of Neurot. That's also the name of their record label. But they put out a companion record for a Neurosis record as Tribes of Neurot with the intention that you play both records at the same time. And they
I did it.
complement each other, and it rules. It's so good.
I did it. I didn't understand the band. I bet if I did it now, I'd be like, okay, now I get it. But the fact that they are like, yeah, here's a companion record to play on top of it. The fuck? Are you serious? That was
They put out a record, like two records that are you can listen to on their own, but you get like a whole new experience if you listen to them at the same time.
that's goddamn genius, man. That no matter what, that's goddamn genius. It's like I said, my limited knowledge of them musically and not be able to wax poetic about them in any way, shape, or form musically. Stuff like that is what will draw someone who like me who's not into it go, oh, they did that. They Wizard and Oz. Their own record.
Yeah.
All right, now I have to listen to this, and I guarantee you, some people that would never think about metal or anything close, just that idea would attract people to go. All right, this is pretty goddamn sick, and just again the influence of doing that as dumb as this, way I'm sound very dumb the way I'm gonna put it. The influence of taking your own record, writing a companion record to it, making a brand new music experience. That is something that like would need to be studied on an academic level.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it is at some point. Like if it hasn't been already. Right? Like if Converge's Jane Doe is studied at NYU, then like Neurosis's Times of Grace needs to be. And it's so cool to see this band be back and like to see them like take a hold of their own legacy again. Like getting it being tied up with all that shit with Scott. Like they rightfully were like, hey, like we don't want to take a thing away from like the shit that his family's had to put up with over the years. Like that's why like we're taking this huge step back and we're not even gonna like and they were just radio silent for a while. But then to come back and like no, Aaron Turner's in the band now. This is a new day for us. Like, they intentionally put it out on the spring equinox. It's like, spring equinox has been in a lot of cultures traditionally considered like the start of the new year.
I didn't even realize that. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was part of the press release. They were like, it's a good time for new beginnings. Um,
Holy shit. That's awesome.
yeah, I don't think we need to glaze Neurosis anymore, but
big record. Even as someone who is a non fan of the band, like who was just again cursory knowledge of the music, more interested in like the change up until like I don't know, a couple years after the collaborative, the companion record from Tribes of Nirot. Outside of that, again, as a non fan, listening to this record again, this is gonna be a critical. It's gonna be a critical darling on top
Absolutely.
of a fan darling.
Yeah.
This is the kind of comeback that every both Poison the Well and Neurosis to a much bigger degree due to uh, previous things that had happened. Uh,
Yeah, lucky for Poison the Well, they didn't have like any monsters in their midst that they had to get rid of. Like,
not at all, because
yeah,
it's uh, the fact that two monumental, influential bands having rebirth records, comeback records, both going to be darlings, but that Neurosis record is going to be a new standard for when a band comes back for redefining themselves. This is an important point for guitar music, but also for aggressive music because it seems to get the most problems in it from what I have seen.
yeah, yeah. I can't think of another time when like a band has swapped out a member and it's just been as seamless of a transition as this either. And like, man, it's just so cool. Uh,
Shout out Neurosis fans. You are eating good, and I got my Poison the Well record, which I'm very happy about. You guys got an amazing record. You got someone like me who would actually go see that full record played live, uh, just to see. I would just say just for maybe some of the hits, but now I'm more enthused to want to see them live, and unfortunately, that's going to be very difficult.
as of now, the only scheduled performance they have is at a fest called Fire in the Mountains out in middle of nowhere, Montana. And I would love to go to that festival more than anything in this world. It is shout out that like Fire in the Mountains. Look into it. It is pretty different as far as music fests go. It is on Blackfoot land in Montana.
Ooh,
It is a festival that is put on by members of the Blackfoot tribe and other Indian tribes with the explicit goal of combating um, suicide among um, indigenous folks. That's particularly teenagers and young people. Um, if you're not aware, there's a mental health crisis among indigenous folks here in the United States. Particularly among their like younger the younger generation. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds as to why, but if you have any idea about the way that we have traditionally treated um, the people who were here first, whose land this all is, then it should come as no surprise that that is a rough place for them. So for this music festival that is trying to bring some hope and some goodness into that, I think is really, really cool. Um, Converge were the headliners last year, along with Wardruna. Is that a band that's on your radar at all?
I feel like you just made sounds.
Wardruna is like a like traditional like Scandinavian folk band started by former member of Gorgoroth.
So the answer is no. Absolutely no idea. How long
It's
have
cool.
how long has Fire in the Mountain been going?
It's only a few years old at this point. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
That that is a very cool concept in and of itself. Good cause. Where I live in South Carolina, uh, we have Cherokee, North Carolina, which I've been to a couple times, and you can see now that they have all their they're separate from everything else. I think that a lot of that they've gotten their rights back, even though it's just a small section and it's very limited in comparison to all the what was taken. But the fact that there is something, and they are trying to build a bigger community. There's a lot of touristy stuff there. There's a lot of cool like shops. If anyone ever, if you want to do something cool for vacation, go see the people whose land this used to be and give them your money.
Yeah. Um,
And don't be a patronizing dickhead. Just be like, this is gonna be our vacation. Do something good for people. That the reason why we have this.
yeah. And if you want to be really cool about it, fucking land back. But I think yeah, this apparently Steve from Neurosis sits on the board for Fire in the Mountains. Has been a huge champion for that fest since its inception. So it's cool to see that Neurosis is like the big headliner this year, along with 16 horsepower, which is do you know
Relapse.
do you know Woven Hand? Yeah, it's a guy named David Eugene Edwards, I want to say. It is like dark alt country.
Okay,
It's
I believe it.
it's really cool shit. But 16 horsepower was his band that he did before he did Woven Hand.
Okay.
But
When I think dark alt country, I think of the Death Wish seminal classic Half Acre Gun Room.
what?
All right, to end on to end like the big talk on the weirdest note, bringing it back to Converge, the Convergicast. Uh, Jake Bann and Trey McCarthy of Death Wish, when they started, they didn't have a ton of bands to sign, and one of the bands they put out, I think it's the only release they ever did, and the band ever did on this record came on Death Wish. It's called Half Acre Gun Room, and it is that dark alt country. So when I hear dark alt country mentioned, I have to mention that record and that band because I feel that they need early Death Wish release. Let's be honest. Weird opening catalog, and that one stands out so much that like it's a very good record that definitely got lost on hardcore kids. So it's please check it out. Half Acre Gun Room. It's
I will definitely give that a listen this week. I'm fascinated. But anyhow, I feel like we those were the things.
yeah, it was good. Good talk. Talked about a lot of different. Oh, I got one last shout out.
Please.
I want to give a shout out to my friend JX, Common Ground 304. They had their punk rock flea market in West Virginia. I want to say it's Barbersville, but I know that's not right. It's right outside of Huntington. I should know where this is, but maybe it's the state I'm from. But his band had their very first show. The video is on YouTube. Common Ground 304. Check them out. They're the homies, and uh, I'm very proud of him for all the work he's put into it. First real band as an adult, and taking it seriously, wanting to push it, and good reaction. He sent me a bunch of messages about how cool the whole experiences was. So I want to just put that out there. So hopefully it will bring uh, some more attention to his band and West Virginia doing things with independent artists in general. Because like I said, it's my
Hell
home
yeah.
state. It's not just Sheets, baby. It's not just the Tamarack. It's not just Mothman. We have other stuff going for us, and
I I would love to go back to West Virginia at some point. One of my best friends comes from there, and my only memories of it at present are pizza that was so bad that I'm still mad about it. And I ate that pizza in 2008, but
where was it from?
we were in Wheeling, West Virginia, and it was shout out my friend Andy again's birthday. Um, and we were told to go to this place in Wheeling for pizza. It was the spot, and it was just god awful. It was so bad. I don't remember where it was from exactly, but ketchup and craft singles on toast would have been preferable.
Yo, if it, It's one of three places that I'm thinking of, so I'm not going to put three places on blast unfairly. Uh, but like, listen, West Virginia, not known for its pizza, known for its pepperoni rolls. We're really good at that. We're good at pepperoni rolls, not good at pizza.
I I would have loved to have a pepperoni roll. I've had pepperoni rolls since. Delicious. I want bread and cheese and pepperoni. Like I could go for that most days. Uh, but
That's sandwich of later when we wrap up. I'm actually going to do that with a white sharp cheddar and some pepperoni and a roll,
that
and
sounds dope as hell.
I'm going to feel real good about myself.
But
A fun episode today. Got to talk about a lot of shit. Um,
yeah, if you
I
made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Um, please, if you could hit a like button, hit a subscribe button, whatever, that does help us out a lot. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you giving us your time. And yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, sound off in the comments on some stuff we might have missed or some stuff you want to talk about, because like we will eventually go through all of them. Oh, we got a social now. We got an Insta.
Yes, I do. I did set up an Instagram this week. Give us a follow on there if you feel so inclined.
Don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but we got one.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to do the things. If someone else wants to do that, God bless, but I am not.
We are two busy adults. I think the big thing for it, if anything else, we just put like, "Hey, new episodes up. Go check it out. Here's where you can get it," and like
Yeah,
maybe a quick. I think that's probably the easiest thing to do with it. Uh, that way, if you go, "Oh, they talk about this today. All right, I got to listen to this on the way to work," or like, "Oh, this episode talked about this. Let's go back and see what this is." Speaking of going back, we still have to do the lost episode again. That's how we got to get done soon.
I'm gonna hit stop.